Oh my God, guys, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic outside, and I'm parenting. Jesus! Ooh, I know this is a trying time for you. This is a trying time for me. But, Cozy One Podcast has to still push through. I've been pushing through for the past, 4 months. This has not been the summer of my life. I did not enjoy this summer. If you want to call it that. I'm not enjoying, scanning in homework and emailing it to teachers. I'm not enjoying that. Class Duo is on pivot. Google Classroom is on pivot. Alerts is coming on my phone. I'm always checking the news. I don't know what's going on. This election is going to be wild. It's just a wild time. And I just want you guys to know that I am here with you. Thank you for tuning back into Cozy Moon Podcast for season 9. Give me clap for season 9. Yes. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I'm being really transparent this season and sharing a lot of my life with you, sharing a lot of things that people are not thinking about during this pandemic and this quarantine. And I just really want us to be better human beings throughout this whole pandemic, because that's what we need. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episodes this season. Woo! Let's just get into it. There's so much to talk about. Let me start with these kids. These kids. Let's just get into this.
Hey, it's Anya Dula, and I am the host of Intercultured with Anya Dula. Intercultured with Anya Dula is a podcast that focuses on motherhood, culture, birth work, and travel. And it's just a place for women to come together to discuss our philosophies on motherhood, to discuss our work and birth work, if that's what we do, but mainly to bring women of all different cultures together so that we can talk about how we mother, how we #do motherhood, so that we can learn from one another and learn to love each other. That's really what it's all about. I hope you'll join us. Intercultured with Anya Dula podcast is available on all the major podcast stations. I hope you'll join us. Can't wait to connect.
Here we go.
Back to the show. Welcome back to Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan, mama of the girls. I have a great bonus episode for you guys for season 9. I want to talk about parenting within a crisis and homeschooling with a guest, Naomi. She also has a podcast called Holistic Travel Nurse Podcast. You guys should check it out. What I want her to do is kind of talk about her podcast, and then we'll go ahead and speak on the topic today, because I think all parents and children can benefit from the information and the knowledge she has in a holistic way during this whole transition in this pandemic. Naomi is a wife, and she also is a mother who knows the ins and outs of how to go ahead and assist and help parents throughout, better health with this whole transition. So I think she would be the perfect person to talk to. So welcome to Cozy Moon Podcast, Naomi.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on your podcast today.
Of course. And the way that we got in touch is we found each other on Facebook through a podcast group, which is what was really good and beneficial. So can you talk a little bit more about your podcast?
Yeah, so I decided to put a podcast together to tell people that really, and I want to inspire and tell people that it's possible to take care of your health naturally. I pretty much want to tell you what you're not going to hear from your physician. And maybe you might hear from some health coaches and maybe some other natural nurses, but there's a disconnect when we go see a doctor and all they are is trained as pharmaceutical medicine and just want to give you a drug. And I want to say lifestyle changes make such a big change to helping you overall with your health. So I have interviewed people that have had success with getting off blood pressure meds, reversing type 2 diabetes. Oh my gosh, recently, which is a great episode to tie with yours, is that I have an interview with a nutritionist and a mom who her kid was going down the autism spectrum, and with help of nutrition and books and things like that, got her kid back from being autistic.
Oh, that's good. And today with the foods, that has a lot to do with it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. As a matter of fact, I'm a huge love documentaries, and I was watching a documentary yesterday, and I was like, this isn't, and they made it free, the documentary. It's on YouTube. This is really cool stuff. Because you're not getting it in the mainstream media. You just won't. You won't get the truth.
Yeah. The truth is not looked at as, oh, that's not going to be popular, or that's not going to get enough hits. And I don't think it should be about if it's popular, or if it's going to get enough hits. Is how many people will this help if they really knew the way to go ahead and cope with X, Y, and Z?
Exactly. Well, I think it is, if people knew that simple lifestyle changes could disease prevent or improve their health. I mean, why I became a nurse is that I had my own child with severe breathing issues. She spent 4 years in and out of the hospital the first 4 years of her life. And it was other nurses are like, you should be a nurse. And I'm like, and it was a conversation I had with the God above that I was like, okay, so I'll be a nurse. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to figure out how to help my own child. And that's exactly, I think, what a lot of parents feel like. I'm kind of lost. What should I be doing? Am I doing something wrong as a parent that is causing her issues and her health issues? And there were some things, and it took 15 years or more of going to so many specialists and trying to figure it out on my own, how to help her, because she was on, you name the nebulizer, you name the respiratory drug, and my daughter has been on it. Wow. Long before any kid should really even be on them. They're like, well, this pulmonologist is like, this, do that. And I tried homeschooling, so I have it out there. I tried homeschooling her because she'd missed so much school that we'd get in trouble. And every time school season would start, that's when RSV or one of the viruses, and she'd get sick and have to miss school. And miss a lot of school. So I, hands down to all those parents right now that are being teachers, when, man, I homeschooled for a year. I did it for a year, and I was like, this is, and a middle school kid too. So middle school, that bridgeway with kids is so hard. Mm-hmm. It is so hard. And so I just hats off to all the moms and dads that are doing it right now.
Yeah. Especially with every year your child goes to school, I think the school curriculum introduces a new way of doing something that we've been doing for 10 plus years. So it's not only the child that has to go to school, the parent has to go to school. So on top of everything else that parents are doing, we have to learn this new way that they want you to do this math and show this work that doesn't make sense to us. And
oh my gosh, yes.
I've always hated math. So I'm always, even during the days where my child doesn't have to do schoolwork, I'm just like, let's get you a math game. All last night she was on a math game. And I feel like if they get familiar with something without the pressures of it, it'll be a bit more easier for them to get understanding. Because as an adult, I downloaded this app called Elevate, and it really shows you in the background of reading, comprehension, math, whatever it is, a new way of understanding how they got to an answer. And I'm just like, man, I wish my teachers growing up would have explored a new way of getting to the answer, because not all children learn the same. So that's why I like the Elevate app, because it actually helps you make everything connect a bit faster than you just learning it one way. With you homeschooling, what was some tips that actually helped you and your kids get through the assignment or through the day that today would probably help parents be better off through like virtual learning?
So it's keeping the kids on a routine is what's really helpful. It's like, okay, we're still going to get up at this time. We're going to schedule out your day. And so they know exactly what they're going to should be doing. Mm-hmm. And kids function better with structure. And as a natural approach, you have to think about that also with their diet too. And at home, at least you're going to be able to feed them a healthier source than having to get up and having to make them lunch to take them out. You know, you can incorporate that into like health, you know, into whatever's going on. Like math, you said, I mean, measurements and stuff with cooking and making food. If that is math, then that's really good. A one way to incorporate your kid into part of it. We use essential oils on our house, and we use a lot of essential oils when it comes to like focus, and it's helping with the children with that time that they need to know that they're focused for. So they, you know, and having that clock where they're not going to stare at it. Well, this time period, and like have it scheduled out. Like remember when we would go, especially middle school and high school, and you have that schedule. You have these block times, and then you block times also for recess, or they can do something fun that they want to do on the computer, play a game, get outside. Oh my goodness, it's so important for our children to get outside and get in the sunshine.
I feel like the sun will calm me during the day of school.
Oh my gosh, walks, yeah, go on a hike, get it in nature. Incorporate that into your, like, whatever they have you do. But, you know, as a parent, if you're having those moments where you're just getting frustrated, and like, I'm glad you gave the app, because I remember the way they teach math, I'm like, what? I'm so lost from what, you know, I was taught. I'm like, I'm so confused, you know, I have no idea how to help my kid through this whole thing. And I mean, I had ranges of children. I had one that was like, I didn't need to guide her. The other one needed guidance. So you have to kind of know where your kid needs. Like, some kids are really good. You just give them that structure and they know. Others, you really have to watch them and remind them. And okay, so if we get this done, we get this assignment done, then we can do this. And if you feel like you're getting frustrated, then you realize it's okay for the parent to take a time out.
Yes, I recommend parents to take a time out, because the one thing that was frustrating for me growing up is cousins or my brothers who really knew math would come to me and explain it to me and be like, this is how you do it. And then I will do it and it's still wrong. And then the yelling will come and I'm just like, well, I completely shut out. Because if you're going to yell at me, I'm done with it. And I'm not going to understand it, and your helping is not going to be helping. It's going to be pointless at this point. So when I feel like I'm getting to the point of I'm going to yell, I just walk away, or I'll just tell my 6-year-old to work on something else, and then we'll come back to it. And one thing that I do like about my 6-year-old's teacher is she'll go ahead and leave all the homework to be turned in on Sunday. So there's no real pressure for them to get the homework done tonight, so you could turn it in tomorrow. And that takes the pressure off of you, because it's like, we could come back to it this weekend. So I usually give her like Saturday free, where she can do whatever she wants. And then today is Sunday. We have until 11 p.m. to turn in her homework. I'll check her work that she did throughout the week in a little bit. And then if she needs to work on something, we'll work on it. But yeah, that frustration doesn't help anybody.
No, not at all. And I think there's some other little natural things. Diet plays a huge role in focus. And so if you're feeding them way too much sugar, you know, hyped up on that, you can make some changes. You have the control at home easier than going to school and having a nutritional background. There's just recently there is a incredible thing on YouTube where parents can learn a bit more. Magic Pill is the name of the documentary, and it's very interesting, and people should watch it. And it's about nutrition, and it's about making those changes. And I think they made it kind of hard on people, I mean, they threw all this food away and said, don't eat this, you got to eat this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, sometimes you can make simple choices and watch how much sugar you're feeding your kid every single day. Nobody told me that, you know, the inflammation in my daughter's lungs could be because of her diet being not so great, that we're getting too much sugar with the cereal that we're having. I mean, we were just, even fruit, you're adding a ton of sugar. So I'm like, it didn't even dawn on me that these foods could be an issue, because no physician brought it about that foods could be an issue, unless you had maybe possibly celiac disease. And celiac disease actually not just affect the gut, it will affect the brain and people's focus.
Even the foods, like I'll go to the grocery store with the girls and they're just like, can we get Pop-Tarts? I'm just like, no. And they'll be like, why? I'm just like, they put too many chemicals in it that are unnecessary. So that's a no. Can we get Lucky Charms? No. Why not? They put a chemical in it that doesn't have to be in there. Like paint thinner, a chemical in paint thinner does not have to be in children's cereal. A chemical that they put in the processing of car tires does not need to be in kids' cereal. And it's more so companies trying to line their pockets with how can we give this longer shelf life to make more money versus is this healthy for a human being to be consuming it first thing in the morning. And it's like, why is that the choice? And I don't want to feed my kids that. So I usually go to like the healthy section of the grocery store, or I'll go to Sprouts, which is like a more intimate version of a what is that grocery store?
Health food store, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, Sprouts, just their supplement and vitamin section is amazing. They have all of these little oils, and they have like a book that explains what it will help. So even if you don't know about the oil or the supplement, you can educate yourself right there in the store. So that's why I'll pick foods from there, just because I really feel like I'm in control of what I can help go into my child's body.
Yeah, you are. You and the more you stay on the outskirts of the grocery store and shop less processed, you're going to do so much better. And getting your kids to like certain foods, you know, it's important, because I mean, I have seen it where people are like, oh, this kid will only eat this, they'll only eat that. No, it's going to be a battle, but you can change that with your child, and you can see it at cognitive change with them and yourself. If you're not feeding yourself healthy foods, there's a gut brain connection. So those make a big deal right now with stress too. And you know, I saw that, you know, I think it went viral, that mom with those toddlers at home who locked herself in and was eating Twizzlers. She's like, they're just, I can't get away from them. And I remember my kids like, okay, I was trying to take a hot bath and I thought they were all asleep, and they like duct tied their sibling with duct tape. I'm like, oh, how do you do this? I'm like, I think you guys are asleep and you're doing something so bad.
Yes, when they get quiet, you get scared.
That's exactly it. They get quiet, you're like, oh, what have they gotten themselves into? And it's like this never ending like thing for a mom, especially a single mom, because I'm like, you have no like backup, you know. Hey, it's like I was a single mom for a while, 4 kids, and it's like me against 4, you know. They could overtake me. Yeah.
And that's who I feel sorry for right now, especially with this virtual learning, is parents who maybe you got lucky and you got a job working from home. But on top of that, you have 4 kids in different ages. You have 5, you have 8, you have 13, and you have 16. And then you have to worry about, are they on their phones, or are they supposed to be on the computer, or are they doing their learning? And I'm just like, how do you balance all of that?
Oh, we used to get told that we were like the mean parents, because we had a rule that their cell phones, especially as teenagers, their cell phones were not allowed in their room, especially at night. They came up and there was a cell phone station, and we would take away the kids that spent the night their phone too, and they were like, oh, I'm not spending the night there because they take my phone away. We were the mean parents. But you know, you have to think, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
Right. You know? Because they will stay on them all night.
Exactly. So you've got to, like, you know, you have to think what's best for them, and then you need to do something also for you. And those I do an oil routine. I have a very stressful job sometimes at work, at the hospital setting right now. Oh my gosh, policy changes, the amount of fear, all this at work. And so I use oils to balance my emotions at work too. So you can use, but it's about having a good quality essential oil. You can learn more on that, like on my podcast. I talk a lot about that. And what a good essential oil. And you can learn the difference when you hear some of the conversations. And I have a mom who has a really good story on my podcast that is really, really, really great story about how overcoming some health issues with her own children and choosing a natural approach and what it's done for her.
What are like 3 essential go-to oils for you that help?
Any citrus oil diffusing is going to be uplifting to the mood and also hopefully kill pathogens. So sunny citrus type of things are going to be uplifting to the mood. And then when you want to calm them down, you can definitely pull out your lavenders and your wood oils. Your wood oils are also calming to the body. And so those are very calm. And in children, dilution is very key, and less is more. And diffusing is a great way. And a diffusing one, did you know diffusing peppermint will actually help with focus? So when you think of it helps with focus. And so you can use that with homework time. And the company that I'm with when it comes to oils, they have some blends just for children. I use them with my dogs, even with their mood and behavior.
The best part is the kids don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, your kids, well, no, they'll learn about the oils and they'll ask for them. My husband just woke up and decided to get in the background of the podcast. Sorry.
Okay.
And then the dog my dog always likes to jump on me. So if you hear that in the background, that's my dogs, which they get them too for their mood. I use them on my dogs for the mood because there's times when they're very stressed. And so lavender is very good for them for calming down with the stress and anxious feelings that they have.
And for injury.
And injuries, yes.
I used to have a dog that every time it would like start raining or storming, she would get crazy. I'm just like, oh my God, Duchess, calm down. Yeah. And a lot of people use oils when they're traveling with their dogs too.
Oh yeah, and then just for digestion and things like that too. You can multiple things for one oil, and I have a lot of those. I mean, I have I talk about that. I have my advanced aromatherapy certification, so I have episodes that you can just go learn about one particular oil, and then the top 10 ways to use it. Cool. And then I do a blog the same way with some really good tips there too. Even when it comes to healthy recipes, I have some of those out, which I'm excited about. That I was like, I've been cooking this and I've been making this. I better share it with somebody else.
Yeah, especially now, people have to like pre-plan their meals or pre-pack their meals a lot more because they have longer shifts, or they're just on the go and their kids need something where they could just pop it out and eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm glad I have kids that love vegetables and eat, and they're really healthy eaters now. I mean, really good healthy eaters.
You got lucky.
Yeah, I didn't give them, I wasn't like, okay, forced. I just kind of made a variety of stuff. And I have very, kids that really love healthy stuff. And I'm glad that they all, I took my son who's 20, he's going to be 23 real soon here. And I took him grocery shopping and let him pick out all his stuff for his house. And like a 20-something-year-old, what are you going to be eating?
You're lucky if they know what to pick up.
Right. I mean, because he had a pizza in his room when he moved out. We didn't go in there for like 30 days. And it was like petrified. It wasn't even like food. It was like a petrified pizza. No mold. I'm like, it's been in there for at least 30 days and we didn't. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was really surprised when we went and he's like buying all this healthy stuff. And I'm like, I am so proud of you. You're not living off of pizza and Pop-Tarts and Pop Ramen. I'm so glad,
My kids always ask me, why you don't buy these noodles? I said, because the seasoning and the salt in there is so unnecessary that I would rather us just make our noodles and our spices from scratch at home. Like, I don't want to buy it pre-packed. So it's not that when they want things, I just tell them no. I tell them the reason behind the no. That way, if they're out with friends, they don't take advantage of that time where I'm not around. Like, ooh, my mom never lets me get soda. I want soda. Or my mom never lets me get this. They know the reason why behind it. So that I explain to them, because I don't know, food today and kids go hand in hand with their behavior and their patience. Like, it's hard, but you have to be disciplined when you go to that grocery store.
I know. Like shopping with the kids. Oh my gosh, it's just like, because they'd be grabbing it and just putting stuff in the cart, and you have no idea until you get to the front. You're like, I did not put that in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What I try to do is, when I cook, I'll do like a vegetable stir fry with like cauliflower, broccoli, and some other veggies, and then I'll do it with like maybe a shrimp, maybe chicken breast, so they don't feel like this is a whole healthy meal, and try to mix it up. But I have a 3-year-old that will pick out every vegetable that I give her, unless I bargain with her about how many vegetables she can eat for like a gummy or something. So
or dipping sauce. You gotta find a dipping sauce maybe that she likes to dip them in.
Yeah, like it's all trial and error with that one.
Yeah, or cheese. If they love cheese, if they can do dairy, and you put it on cheese, melt cheese over. But you know what? I made egg rolls. If stir fry, I used to make egg rolls, and I would fry them up, and I would put vegetables that they would never eat. I have a Brussels sprouts and they would never eat a Brussels sprout.
I've never had Brussels sprouts, and I don't know how to go ahead and cook them. So it would be an experience for all of us if I buy Brussels sprouts.
Really good, like
chop them up and fry them in coconut oil. You want it good fats, coconut oil. I had them at a restaurant and really fried, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the best experience. I mean, my mom made me eat them a different way, but fried, and then they would actually almost dip them in a batter and then put some stuff on them, but they were so good. And so I was like, oh, you're missing out on the Brussels sprouts if you don't try them fried.
Right. This is good.
Yeah, my husband only. But if I added it into an egg roll, they're like, no idea that I added something. No, they just would eat it if it's chopped.
Yeah, because they're not going to look in it.
Exactly. They would just eat it. Exactly. And the same thing with meatloaf. I put different stuff in the meatloaf sometimes too. But, and I have now 2 kids that are like, they're vegetarians. But I'm like, I still like, some people feel better that way. And then I saw it with this kid, because this kid would never, like, she asked for what, a fruit something other one year, edible arrangement one year instead of a cake.
Well, that's, kids, you just never know, because my 6-year-old was up at like 2 a.m. making herself a fruit salad with all of my fruit in my fridge. So I'm just like, girl, if that's what you want to eat, great. Knock it out.
Exactly. At least, she's choosing something healthy to eat. Exactly. Yeah. So you're doing a good job, Mom. And then you're like, keep a schedule. I used to have like, I use Excel spreadsheet for like their chores, and you could do the same thing if you're homeschooling and put it on the fridge or somewhere where it's like, okay, so this time blocked, and you could do that for yourself when it comes to like being creative and giving yourself a break. You time block. Oh, I'm going to do this for an hour. Then I'm going to go and read that book, or I'm going to binge watch. Hey, a show together. I watched and read books because of them. I read Twilight because of my kids.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to be willing to go outside the box and do that. A lot of parents think, oh, that's just a kid thing, but it's amazing what a child would do if they see you doing it.
I read all these books because of my kids got into it, so I want to make sure what they were reading. So I think my son read, I'm trying to think of that big author. He read a whole bunch of his stuff. Anyways, I read a lot of his, and then my daughter read all the Hunger Games stuff. I read that. I mean, all these books that I wanted to know what they're educating our kids with compared to what like we did. And so I was like, well, I need to incorporate, and I wanted to get my kids into reading and enjoy reading. And same with like TV. I was like, oh, we ain't watching this. There's certain cartoons
It's adult cartoons. It's not kids cartoons. And I'm just like, okay, we're not watching this.
Yes. Yes, and then and now in YouTube, I like that YouTube finally said, "Hey, we're going to do this for kids." Oh my gosh, will they get on YouTube forever?
Oh, yeah. My kids love watching other kids play on YouTube. I'm just like, I don't get it.
And these YouTuber kids that are making all this money, I'm like,
listen, toys in the store. So I don't know. It's a different type of parent to dedicate your lives to your child YouTubing. But
yeah,
I guess it pays.
Definitely.
But can you tell the people how to find your podcast and how to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I do one-on-one health coaching too. So Holistic Travel Nurse you can do Gmail and email, and then you can just look up Instagram or Facebook. I have my own private Facebook group. So I will do Facebook Lives, and in my Facebook group we'll share a little bit more than what I can share anywhere else. So Holistic Travel Nurse, and you can find me Instagram, and it's purple. We both have a purple theme, girl. And so it's purple theme, and then we'll have it in the show notes. I'll send it all to you so people can just look at the show notes and click something, and they'll be able to go to my Instagram, my podcast, or my Facebook group.
Perfect. It was great having you. Good information, and I'm sure a lot of parents would be looking for like a less stressful way. And I think contacting you and seeing all of your podcast episodes and see what can help them in that process would be really good.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to having you on mine. I think it'll be good conversation.
Of course, I'm down. I am down for it.
Yeah.